Yes guys, how is everyone? Hope we're okay, hope we're well, hope we're marvellous. I just finished an 8-mile run and it felt good. It was painfully slow, It's like 1 hour 13 or something disgusting. So that needs to be improved, but nothing like starting your day with a nice long run. And it's really like charged me up for this video. So today's video is all going to be about nutrition, kind of like the basics of nutrition, okay? So when we're talking about macronutrients, what the hell are macronutrients, why are they important? Protein, carbohydrates, fats, what are they? Why are they important? Why do we need them? And then, most importantly, I would argue more importantly, and that is just not talked about in on kind of YouTube fitness channels enough. I mean, there's a couple of guys out there that do it really well, but Thomas DeLauer, Dr. Berg, if you're not following them, Thomas DeLauer and Dr. Berg, I'll put links to some of their videos in the description. Like, amazing. They're just like a waterfall, or at least a powerful water feature of knowledge. I would strongly recommend that you check those guys out. They do talk about micronutrition really well, but I don't think it's talked about enough. Yeah, really not talked about enough, and it's so important. There's no point learning about macronutrition and your macros and protein, carbohydrates and fats without micronutrition, because that's what it's all about, guys. Your body needs that stuff. Having a diet that does not compose the right levels of micronutrition is just going to make you feel gross. You're not going to be able to train, you're going to get unhealthy, you're going to get sick all the time. Your body's going to hate you, basically. You're going to become your body's enemy, and you don't want that. You want to live in a beautiful harmony with your body. You want to love your body, and you want your body to love you back. Because if your body loves you back, it like repays you and makes you feel amazing. It makes you feel great. You know, after a run, your body like says, thank you, I really like that. So it pumps endorphins through your body, so you feel super. Kind of like how I feel now. Is it coming through the screen? Like, I am pissing endorphins at the moment. I'm high as a kite. I'm high as a freaking kite right now, okay? I've got a nice cup of tea. Look at that. Nice cup of tea. And I've gone on an 8-mile run and I feel good. Don't get me wrong, I'm gonna crash later and like probably fall asleep in the cinema or something. But right now, I feel friggin' great. That's your body rewarding you. If you eat a great diet, right micronutrition, your body will reward you, right? It will make you feel amazing. And if you don't eat, and if you go the other end of the spectrum, you don't eat anywhere near enough, it will make you feel like crap. It will make you feel sick. It will give you deficiencies. Your organs will just like not work and make you feel rubbish, and you'll get potentially seriously ill. Why does that happen? Because you don't have the right amount of micronutrition, and that is what we were talking about in this video. So welcome, guys. Okay, welcome. So let's get right into it. First, we're going to talk about macronutrition, why it's important, like basically what it is if you're a complete newbie. So I'm doing these first initial videos as if, you know, you're completely new to diet and fitness and you want to get into it and you want to learn. That's the most important thing. I know some people just want to dive in, they don't want to learn. I find, you know, you don't stick to your program long term, and you don't, you know, really own your journey then, because you don't really know what you're doing. And let's face it, anything you've ever done, if you don't really know what you're doing and you're just doing something, you're just doing what someone tells you to do, you know, I don't feel comfortable doing that. I never stick at something like that if I don't own it and I don't really understand and know what I'm doing. So it's all about knowledge, it's about imparting knowledge. I think that's what YouTube is great for. And the really good channels are just there to like teach people stuff, yeah? It's definitely inspirational, you know, cool lifestyles and actually inspiring people. But yeah, imparting knowledge is like probably the best thing and one of the most important things about like kind of good YouTube channels. And I like to think mine's like a half decent channel that is a waterfall, or at least a powerful water feature of knowledge. So yeah, sorry, massively rambling. Let's get back on point. Macronutrients. Okay, let's start with the big boy, the most important one, the one that everyone talks about, a huge deal, where it's probably like most of the fitness industry, especially YouTube, is built on, or like most fitness or nutrition YouTube videos are about, and that is protein. Right, I'm not gonna go into all the debates about protein, okay? How much you need, all that stuff. I'll do really detailed videos on all that stuff. I'm gonna do some plant-based protein ones, and talk about how I do being plant-based. I'm not fully plant-based, I do as many days as I can. So right now I'm trying to do Monday to Friday plant-based and then not plant-based at the weekends. I'll do whole separate videos on that. I won't go into that in this video. This is just gonna be about protein. So what fundamentally is protein? I look at protein. Protein is basically, you might have heard this term a lot, but like it's amino acids, right? So it's groups of amino acids kind of clubbed together to form what are basically muscle and tissue, okay? And what they do is, you know, as you grow and you're building new muscle and tissue all the time because you're growing, you're getting bigger, so the old muscles are like tearing and growing, and then they need new layers of muscle they need to build and get bigger. That is built by new protein coming into the body. So your body taking the protein from the food you eat, and then that is broken down into amino acids, and then those amino acids are used to like build new muscle and build your body basically as you're growing. And obviously when you're growing and exercising, that all, you know, comes together to form new protein as well. So you need probably even more protein when you're younger, you could argue. I'm sure there's probably some studies that even show that. But mainly it's a building block. So if you think of all of this, I'm going to try and do this analogy for all of these macronutrients of like a building or like a construction site. And I think I was inspired by that when I was out running, because there's a lot of building going on around here. So I was like, let's try and work with that analogy. I don't know how it's going to work out. If it works out badly, I apologize in advance. But that's the building blocks, okay? So the big breeze blocks and the concrete and all that, that's the protein, okay, for your body. So when you work out, muscles tear, so that you rip the muscles apart, you cause stress, and then as that rebuilds, there's more layers created and the muscle gets bigger, and that's what hypertrophy is basically. Like fancy term, hypertrophy is the rebuilding of torn muscles during exercise, so your muscles will get bigger and they get stronger. That's basically what it boils down to, and that is what protein is used for. And protein, you know, if you're not eating enough protein, your body will, you know, as you're like kind of active through your day, the muscles will break down a little bit, and just by kind of the day-to-day things that your body needs to do, the muscles will break down and tissue will break down, and that will need to be repaired. If you say you were eating no protein, your body would have to take protein from other sources. It would start, if it needs it for more essential, so it will prioritize soft tissue, cardiac tissue, the tissue that, you know, the ventricles that go into your heart and stuff. If they get torn and they need to be repaired, it will start breaking down your muscles to use that protein. So eventually, as it prioritizes your organs and the things in your brain, the things that keep you alive, it will start taking that from your muscles, so your muscles will just wither away eventually. So if you don't eat enough protein, you will just like, eventually you will die, yeah? Or you'll get like horribly sick, and you won't be able to do things. You'll get weaker and weaker and weaker. Now, in terms of talking a little bit about how much you need, I would say the absolute minimum, if you're a female, you can probably get by on 60 to 80, and I think that's absolutely fine. I'd say if you're a man, if you're a slender man without much muscle mass, and you're not looking to build muscle mass, you're not training a lot, you could probably also get by on 80. Like 80 is gonna be fine. You're not gonna die. That is enough for everything I just said, like your body to function and enough protein to function. And from what I've read and from all the research I've done, it might even be more than enough. But if you're training, I would say you need 100 grams. If you're training hard and you're trying to be fit and you're just active, I would aim for 100 grams. And even if, you know, I'm going to try and do some more research in the next few months and do specific protein video covering, you know, all of the issues around protein. But you know, even if you find out that, you know, I might find out through all my research that 80 grams is more than enough, I'd probably say shoot for 100 just to be safe, right? But yeah, so that's what protein is basically. That's the fundamental. The nectar that is tea. yeah, so it's basically amino acids. It's the building blocks of life. Obviously a really key part of your diet, and like I said, you want to aim for 80 to 100 grams a day. Like I said, I'm going to do some videos, you know, if you're plant-based. I'm not going to say vegan, that's just like a dangerous landmine of a word, okay? So I'm going to do some videos on how you can comfortably get 100 grams of protein on a plant-based diet. But yeah, I would say around 100 to 80 grams, 8 grams you'll be fine. But yeah, that's basically kind of what protein is. So moving on, and obviously what I wanted to go over was how essential that is and how essential these all are. And that kind of leads neatly into carbohydrates, right? So carbohydrates, guys, I feel like I've gone on a journey with carbohydrates myself, okay? So I went through a stage of not eating carbohydrates because they were bad and evil, and people, you know, think that if you eat loads of carbohydrates, you know, that the carbohydrates make you fat. Now, that is not the case, okay? Carbohydrates are absolutely essential. I think the problem is, it's really understanding what a carbohydrate is. So what you've got to remember, guys, is that like vegetables mainly are carbohydrates, okay? So, oh my God, and obviously you need tons of vegetables. That's what I'll get into in the macronutrient section, micronutrient section. Sorry. Yeah, you know, vegetables are carbohydrates, and that's where all the nutrition is. And obviously, I think everyone knows how important vegetables and fruits are into your diet. They're carbohydrates, yeah? So, and obviously what carbohydrates are bad, and I do think, I am on the, you know, in the category of people that think that, yeah, white rice, you know, white pasta, all like kind of foods based on kind of processed white flour, white bread, you know, highly processed white bread, sourdough, you know, white sourdough bread, you can argue is way more healthy for you. And don't get me wrong, I didn't eat much bread since I've been experimenting with being plant-based. I've eaten way more bread, and I found some great kind of rye sourdough breads made with like spelt flour that are actually really great, really healthy, loads of micronutrients and loads of, and actually a lot of protein per serving. So I'm kind of, you know, I am eating more bread now. So the bread is fine. It just has to be really, really good bread, yeah? Really healthy bread, fresh bread. And you know, if you get it made with like a spelt flour and it's a sourdough, there's a lot there that is good for you. But how I would look at it is, once you have eaten, what you want to aim for is to get most of, if not all, of your carbohydrates per day. You know, if that's like 200, 300 grams, or, you know, from vegetables, okay? And that is almost like, because of the micronutrients that you need, some of the micronutrients that you need a lot, okay? So one key mineral, micronutrient is potassium, right? And you need a lot of potassium, you need tons of potassium. So way more than vitamin A, vitamin C, and a lot of other kind of vitamins and minerals. Potassium's high, and sodium, okay? So because you need so much of that, you know, you need this like huge amount of potassium, you need to eat a lot of kind of leafy green vegetables and salad and vegetables to kind of get that potassium in your system. And by the time you've eaten all of that salad and those vegetables, you'll have eaten you're well on your way to probably getting all the carbohydrates you need for that day. Now, this is something I've learned over like maybe 2-3 years. The last 2-3 years really kind of cemented and clarified my understanding of this stuff. And I kind of take that as, I really think kind of nature gives us signals, okay? Nature gives these like subtle signals. Like if nature was like personified and came to you in a human form, like the ultimate nutritional like PT, right? There's like suddenly like nature is just standing there in front of you. It would be like, it's telling you, okay, the reason that you need that much potassium and it's so hard, you know, it's difficult to get that much potassium is because you're meant to eat a ton of vegetables every single day, loads and loads of vegetables, hundreds of grams, and once you eat those hundreds of grams, that will be all your carbohydrates, yeah? So you don't really need to eat rice and pasta and white potatoes and bread. You don't need to eat it, yeah, if you've done the right breakdown of carbohydrates and fats and protein, and you've got to eat that much carbohydrate, and you know how much vitamins and minerals you need every day. So you're like, to get all of the vitamins and minerals I need every day, so I feel amazing and I'm healthy and I don't get sick ever. And you eat that amount, and it's like, oh, by eating that amount and making sure I get my recommended daily amount of all those micronutrients, I've eaten all my carbohydrates for a day. Surely that is a sign that you're meant to get pretty much all of your carbohydrates, barring an extra sweet potato or some quinoa, which is an excellent source of carbohydrate. Like ancient grains are excellent. So ancient grains and sweet potato, I would say, are the only carbohydrates outside of like pure fruit and veg that you need to eat, because you should be getting all your carbohydrates from vegetables. So, and yeah, if you've got, an extra allocation for carbohydrates left by the end of the day, you probably, eat another banana, eat, another big bowl of spinach. Don't think, oh, I can have some rice, I can have a piece of bread. Because yeah, they're not great for you. Why are they not great for you? My definition of anything that is not good for you, okay, that you shouldn't be eating a lot of, that should just be a treat, whether it's white rice, whether it's a donut, whether it's a chocolate bar, whether it's a slice of cheese, if it's anything, is how much nutrition is in there. Now, if you take 100 grams of spinach, which has got an insane amount of nutrition in it, okay, vitamin A, vitamin C, potassium, just iron, it's just this powerhouse. It's packed with nutrition, okay? So that is good for you. So in terms of like priority list of food you should be eating, if you're in your decision tree, your decision pyramid, what should be at the top is foods like that, spinach. What should be way at the bottom, and the last thing you consider, and you should only eat very occasionally as a treat, a couple of times a week, is foods that have no nutritional value in them, okay? White rice is right up there. Highly processed white bread is right up there. Pasta, chocolate, you've got to see pasta and white rice and pasta and chocolate, the same thing. Yeah, don't get me wrong, white rice, less calories, it will burn slower. You could argue that it is, way healthier for you than a chocolate bar. And I think it is, but you're just arguing out of two bad things, which one is less bad, okay? Which is crazy, you don't want to do that. Just eat the really good carbohydrates, you'll feel amazing, you'll feel incredible, and then just see all those things. If you really like rice, then have it as a treat and make an amazing like biryani, or have a risotto or something like that and make it amazing. But don't be like a bowl of like plain white rice, because that's what you see bodybuilders eat, and they eat that 4 times a day, and they think that's a good source of like glycogen that will go straight into your muscles and fuel you. Like, it's mad. Eat the vegetables, guys. Eat the vegetables, because you will get the glycogen you need from the vegetables, but you will also get this amazing plethora of vitamins and minerals that will make you feel amazing and make you feel healthy. So, in terms of what carbohydrates are, they are basically like the body's kind of primary energy source, yeah? The quick access super fuel that we can just get our hands on. Your body can access it straight away and it prefers it, so we'll always go to carbohydrates first. And your brain absolutely loves carbohydrates. It runs on carbohydrates, it runs on glycogen. What the hell am I talking about? So what your body does when it takes in carbohydrates is it transfers that into glucose and then to glycogen, and then that gets stored in your muscles and your liver. Your liver is like secondary storage, so you don't hold that much glycogen in your muscles. I think it's a relatively small amount. But it's in your muscles for like quick access. So as soon as you start exercising, your muscles will tap into that glycogen store, but it runs out relatively quickly, and then it will start pulling glycogen from your liver. And then when you've run out of glycogen, which is at the point where you feel a bit crappy and you're really exhausted because you're running out of glycogen, then your body will start using your body fat. But that's why we have to train so hard, right? It's because you want to burn through all that glycogen and then start using your body fat stores, and that's how you get a trim physique. So that's basically what carbohydrates are, kind of in a nutshell. Moving on to another big kind of topic, which again, kind of like, carbohydrates, there's a lot around it, is fats. So what are fats? fats have like a number of uses, so you can't really, fats is like a dense like backup fuel source, so it's fuel for when you're, you know, when your carbohydrate glycogen stores have run out. It's a very smooth, healthy, you know, people are saying, you know, on keto diets, that's what a keto diet is all about. So you don't have any carbohydrates in your system, you eat a lot of fat, like crap loads of fat to compensate for the fact that you don't have any glycogen and carbohydrate in your body, so you eat tons of fat, and then you have this very clean, dense fuel that's very, you know, good for you. And people on ketosis diets say that, you know, they feel amazing because burning fat is like cleaner and more efficient and nicer than any other type of fuel source. So yeah, that's, you know, it's a fuel source, but then it's also massively, sorry, tease your break. Fat is way more important than that, okay? It's also responsible for hormone regulation, okay? So what hormones? Hormones, guys, are like everything. So going back to the building analogy, so the carbohydrates is kind of like the energy source. So builders are obviously building that building, so all the concrete and the breeze blocks and all those materials that are the protein, the builders are using all that material to create a building. But let's think of the builders as just energy, right? So some kind of energy force. So say there wasn't builders and all that, you know, it was like Harry Potter shit, and it was almost like building itself. Yeah, I realise this is going to a bit of a weird place, but bear with me. There has to be some kind of energy source that takes all of that building material, all the wood and concrete and stuff, and creates a building out of it. That's the carbohydrates. The fat is like in the background. He's like the site manager, yeah? So because he regulates hormones. So what is the actual site manager is the hormones. So your brain kind of, and along with your gut biome and all this kind of stuff, all of that works together, and fat helps regulate your hormones because hormones dictate like everything, okay? So even you know, you think it's your brain doing all of that, but if one of your hormones is low, then it messes up your brain's thinking, yeah? Like you make bad decisions and not logical decisions, and it totally kind of corrupts and messes with your brain's like logic. So your brain only functions as well as your hormone regulation, okay? So say your hormones are all functioning perfectly, and this is why like kind of athletes keep an eye on their hormone levels, get their bloods done regularly, especially like Olympic athletes, because they want testosterone and estrogen and insulin and all of these hormones to be functioning like really well optimally, because they know then their body and their brain will be functioning perfectly and optimally. And in an ideal world, what I would love, what would be amazing, is like some implant in my body that is monitoring my blood and my hormones all the time, and that like sends like Bluetooth signal to my phone, and I've got an app that tells me all the time what my hormone levels are like and what I should be eating or how I should be training to make my hormone levels better. Because like I'm saying, and this is the thing with micronutrition, right? You get the micronutrition right, that will massively help your hormone regulation, because like I've said, if your hormones are regulating well, if they're all good, if they're all exactly where they need to be, you will feel amazing, okay? You will function like superbly, you'll be the best version of yourself. And this is assuming that, you know, you're not super stressed out and all that kind of stuff, because all the mental psychology side of life can always kind of mess that up. But again, if you're super stressed out and there's a lot of cortisol in your body, which is another hormone, it's a stress hormone that helps you manage it, then that really isn't good for you. But if all your other hormones, if you're, you know, eating well and you're exercising, that will really help manage the cortisol. It will bring the cortisol down, and that's, you know, another example of why hormone regulation is so important, and fats are a massive factor in that. So like if you don't eat good healthy fats and the right amount of fats, then again, like you won't make good decisions, and you'll feel terrible and you'll feel sluggish and you'll be unhealthy, because fats are like this cornerstone of your diet that help regulate everything in your body, and just kind of all that they help the protein and the fat do their job. Yeah, they do what they're meant to do. That's what you know, good healthy fats do. And again, exactly the same with carbohydrates, okay? People think fats are bad. that could not be further from the truth, okay? They're so important, and they're so healthy, and they're so good. It's just bad fats are bad, like bad carbohydrates are bad, bad protein is bad, and bad fats are bad, yeah? Like highly processed crap, butter is, and highly processed crappy vegetable oil, we deep fry in, that's really bad for you. But that's just anything bad, any bad food from any macronutrient group is bad for you, okay? But you eat healthy, you eat the right balance of omega-3 and 6s, you have oily fish, and you have nuts and seeds and avocados, and again, going back to if it's good for you, there'll be like a signal there because of the amount of nutrition. Avocados, tons of fat, but there's also tons of potassium, and there's tons of other micronutrition in there that is super good for you, and that is almost like a signal that like that food is good for you. Yeah, it's packed with fat, but again, it's healthy fat, tons of fiber, tons of potassium. It's really good for you. Okay, so I hope that goes to like some way of explaining what fat is, and and the other thing with fat, almost forgot, is it helps absorb fat-soluble vitamins, okay? So you could have all the micronutrition, you could be doing really well with your micronutrition, but some micronutrition, like some vitamins, are fat-soluble and some are water-soluble, okay? So drinking water and staying hydrated is important so that you absorb those water-soluble vitamins, but fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, E, K, these are really critical vitamins that are essential for certain key functions in your body. You can only absorb them with like a good level of healthy fats in your body, yeah? So that's important to remember, they're all kind of linked and related. So, okay, so that's macronutrition done, I think. We'll wrap that up there, and then in kind of the second section of the video, I will talk about micronutrition, okay? We will get into it. Okay, cool guys, see you in the next clip. Okay, and we're back. So, didn't really need a break there. Could have just carried on, talked about micronutrition, but I need to make another cup of tea. Not gonna lie guys, that's what happened, and that's what was needed. So now we're back, because obviously I'm English, right, from London, so I can't function without just like tea being around or like available at all times. So micronutrition, what is micronutrition? I kind of Googled it a lot, and I kind of like struggled with the definition, but it's not, so it's kind of like it's the small things. If you have like, macronutrition like protein or carbohydrates is this, like the big umbrella term, and then under that is all what your carbohydrates are made up of is vitamins and minerals. But like I've said, there's plenty of foods like white rice doesn't have any vitamins and minerals in them, so it's not necessarily the building blocks, it's just micronutrients are basically vitamins and minerals, simple as that. But what they are is, and what that is, the umbrella term is micronutrition. It's vitamins and minerals, and the reason you hear about vitamins and minerals so much is because they are just very essential, critical things that your body needs to function. Now, I thought about this a lot, and I think the best way to describe this to people, because I think a lot of people don't really understand, how important this is and how critical it is, because you can't just eat your food and you get the nutrients and you feel okay, depending on how much you eat. So people don't really think about kind of the importance of them because you take it for granted, okay? But let me put it this way, so if you didn't get enough vitamin A, for example, if you had a severe deficiency in vitamin A, you weren't getting enough vitamin A for a very long period of time, you were just eating a diet that was devoid of vitamin A sources, your body doesn't make it, it has to take it in. I think vitamin A is water soluble or fat soluble, I don't know. So you could be eating, this is another thing, right? So vitamins are classed and minerals are classed in two different categories. There's water soluble or fat soluble. So if you don't take in enough water to absorb those vitamins, they're not going to absorb into your body. So even if you're eating them, you might not actually be getting the benefits. Same with fat soluble vitamins, are absorbed through fat. So without enough fat in your in your body will eventually just kind of waste away, because like I said, these vitamins and minerals aren't the building blocks, but they're like the building can't be built, or the material for the building, you know, can't be put together, it can't be used without these vitamins and minerals kind of telling the body what to do on a very small level. The vitamins and minerals are kind of like conductors, right? So they tell the different functions of the body what to do and how to build these things. So like I was saying with vitamin A, it's absolutely critical for eye health, okay? So if you don't have enough vitamin A, you eventually will go blind, and a lot of you know, very unfortunately, a lot of children in underdeveloped countries, kind of third world countries, that have a very poor diet, as in it's not biodiverse. You know, if they're lucky, they just kind of get rice and beans and stuff. They don't get vegetables. You know, they don't eat a lot of fruit and veg. They don't get the vitamin A. It's a major cause of the blindness. Now, obviously, that's an extreme, okay? So if there's like a spectrum, and those kind of, that's a real extreme. If you're living in a country where there's you know, you're living in a poor country and there's not much biodiversity, you're not getting a very balanced diet, you know, and then there's the other end of the spectrum of you live in a country like, you know, a developed country, the UK, US, and Europe, and you know, you have access to all of this very healthy, micronutrient dense food, and you eat a very balanced diet, you'll be fine. Where you know, a lot of people who are ignorant about micronutrition, you know, probably not even in the middle, they're probably somewhere between the middle of that and then this extreme of being super healthy and getting the right balance. Probably somewhere in the middle, because you know, if you're young and your parents just kind of forced veg down your throat, if you're lucky enough to really enjoy vegetables, so you just kind of eat them out of actual enjoyment, then you'll get that micronutrition in kind of almost by you know, you'll be unaware that you're just taking in, you know, if you just love broccoli, then you're getting a ton of calcium, and you know, you're not like, I need to eat like my RDA, I need to eat the right amount of calcium today, so I'm going to eat loads of broccoli, whether you like it or not. It's if you love it, you're going to be taking it in, you're going to be getting the right amount. So that's kind of how it works. But this is the thing, is that people are about there on that spectrum just because they're unaware of what foods contain these vitamins and minerals, so what they need to eat. So you don't always suffer the negative consequences, because you kind of end up getting the macronutrition by default, almost by accident, probably the best way of saying it. And then a lot of things are like fortified these days. So you buy a lot of milks. If you're buying like non-dairy milks, they fortify them, and all that means is they just add a vitamin D, like a supplement basically. So it's the same as, rather than like the vitamin C tablet that you take, the supplement, that whatever's in there, they put in the milk, yeah? So it's synthesized, yeah, they've created that. That's man-made, that's not a natural source of vitamin C. They've you know, added it to a milk, and you know, it wouldn't naturally be in that milk. Even if it's a non-dairy milk, it's not natural. So when it says fortified with vitamin D, vitamin C, it's been added, okay? It's not naturally occurring, you know, in that non-dairy milk, because it's made from like oats and stuff. Now there's iron in oats, but as far as I know, that's pretty much it in terms of micronutrients. So, you know, it's got vitamin D in there, or A or something, whatever, it's been added. So yeah, you kind of get them by accident because you consume these foods, but you know, you're only getting them on purpose if you become aware of them, realise what you need. And that's why you don't necessarily feel like the negative effects too much. So that's where I think the trouble comes into people really like caring about this. My channel is really going to be heavily about, I want this channel to be heavily about, you know, marrying the fitness side, like the, you know, fitness advice and how I train, and I'll kind of show you how fit I am now, how fit I want to get, take you on that journey, how I do it, everything I know about fitness, which is a lot of kind of fitness YouTube channels, and we'll do physique updates and stuff, and then fitness updates, all my fitness markers, you know, how fast I can run 8 miles, 10 miles, half marathon, and then, you know, like 5Ks and stuff, you know, how that fitness, and then all my lifts, and I want this, you know, I want to have a really dynamic kind of hybrid style of fitness, and I'll share all that, but then also massively the nutritional side. So not just recipes and ideas and how to get enough protein. That's really a lot of what I see fitness YouTube videos is really like this, the macros. So focus on the macros. This is how I get my fat, this is how I get my carbs, this is how I get my protein, this is what I get from this meal, and then I eat this meal, and then I eat this meal, these are my snacks. But you know, I think what's missing is the micronutrition. So what I want to do is really show you how to get, you know, this is how much potassium, you know, I want to do like a video because you need a lot of potassium. So, you know, like a lot more than vitamin A or vitamin C. I'll do specific videos on this, I won't go into the details, but you need a lot more potassium than you do most other vitamins and minerals. And it's quite hard to get. I've struggled with, if you've got to make sure that you get all the other vitamins and minerals, that are relatively easy, but then get all the potassium you need as well. And then if you exercise, potassium and sodium, which is basically salt, is an electrolyte. So those electrolytes and those minerals will be engaged when you train, and then they'll come out through your sweat. So you've got to kind of then take even more in. So you know, it's tough to make sure you get enough. So a lot of the videos I want to do are going to be specific nutrition, like you know, a lot of people will be like, how I get this much, you know, this is how much protein I get and this is how much carbs I get on a full day of eating. I'll do videos that are like, this is how I get all the sodium and potassium I need through the day, and then another video that will focus on the macronutrients, because I just think it's really important, and I you know, I want this channel to be, this is the place you come to if you want real detailed nutrition advice. I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not a scientist, but you know, I just love this stuff and I'm passionate about it, and just kind of want to share what I know. And everyone I know the guys that I follow on YouTube have probably learned a lot purely from doing the YouTube channel, because you end up talking to other people that know more than you do, or you know, just know things that you don't. But yeah, so that's basically micronutrition in a nutshell. It's these essential things like vitamin A for eyesight, you know, iron is essential for your blood, and they just, micronutrition makes your body work well. And if you just got like less and less micronutrition, if you just took like vegetables and fruit, you know, you decreased your amount of vegetables and fruit from your diet slowly, you would just start feeling worse and worse and terrible until you got to the point where you actually developed something very serious. And a lot of the times people get sick, it's their diet. It's because they'll be deficient in something. They'll be deficient in vitamin C, in zinc. You know, they might think, oh, I'm definitely taking on tons of vitamin C. I'm definitely like really healthy because I'm eating all this vitamin C. But vitamin C, it's kind of like turmeric and black pepper. It doesn't activate. You don't take it on board. Your body doesn't absorb it. You know, vitamin C and iron, the two work together. So you need to take them together. And there's just all this macronutrition. If you don't have it, your body will just slowly degrade. It will not be able to function. These macronutrients are there for your body to function, okay? And if you don't have them, your body just will function very badly. It will begin to degrade. You'll start to feel worse. You won't have energy. So this is the thing, even if you're getting enough and you're like, I'm getting enough, I feel fine. But you know, if this is what you're meant to have and this is what you're having and this is enough and you feel okay, if you start eating this much, guys, like the benefits are just, you feel amazing. You have like more energy, you just feel healthier, you recover from exercise quicker, because like I say, it's not just protein. People think if you eat protein and you know, you eat carbs, that replaces the glycogen, that gives you energy. The protein repairs the muscles and satiates you a lot. And that's what gives you the energy, and that's what recovers. So where you've torn the muscle from exercise and you eat the protein, that's how you recover, eating the protein, that repairs it. But like I've said, it won't repair, because there'll be a plethora of vitamins and minerals that are needed to activate that process, to make that process happen, yeah? To synthesize the protein, to get it repairing quickly. You will need vitamins and minerals to do that. If you don't have those vitamins and minerals, you can eat all the protein you want, but you'd be like, oh, I'm not getting bigger, I'm not repairing. It's taking me 3 days to recover from every workout. I feel like crap. I'm not sleeping well because I'm so sore all the time, or just because I'm exercising so hard, it's affecting my sleep. That will be because, you know, the vitamins and minerals, you know, you've got these like even slight, not deficiencies, but like you're not getting enough. You know, if you want to perform to your optimum as someone who's trying to get really fit, that's what your goal is. You know, I'd strongly recommend that you start researching, or, you know, and I'll be able to help you with this channel of explaining where you get the micronutrition that you need, and you start eating that balanced diet, and then you start feeling great, and you start being able to train harder and repair, because your body is getting all of this, what you need. Again, you know, like I said earlier, it rewards you with good things. Like, the more you exercise, the better you feel. That's your body rewarding you. That's your body's way of telling you, yes, we like this, do more of this, this is great, thank you. We were designed, your body is designed to be active. Your body is designed to take on macronutrition, but also as equally micronutrition, okay? It doesn't matter if your macronutrients are perfect every single day, month after month, week after week. If you have perfect protein, perfect fats, perfect carbohydrates every single day, if those sources of those macronutrients are crap, if you get all your protein from chicken nuggets and then all your carbs are from McDonald's chips and then McChips, McFries, how do you say that? And then, you know, your fat is, you know, you get your fat from the fat that's in the chips, or you get your fat from ice cream, yeah, you are gonna feel like absolute crap in no time. I mean, eventually you will just die from a diet like that. But on paper, you've got the right amount of, you know, if someone was like super ignorant, if an alien came down from another planet and you explained to them about macronutrition, and you just said, you forgot about micronutrition, and you just said, yeah mate, all you need is this much protein, this much carb, this much fat. This is assuming they have a very similar metabolism and physiology than a human. Okay, bad example, but you get what I'm saying. Right, but they, you know, they get the right macronutrition, nutrition, and then they, you know, put all their food in a calorie tracker, and they're like, and they just eat McDonald's, and they get the right amount of protein and fat and carbohydrate on paper, but they're dead in a month because that macronutrition was horrific, like really bad for you. Then what does it matter? Like, it's pointless. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you eat. This is why I arguably say that micronutrition is even more important and should come first. Okay. Now I say that macronutrition is super, super important. Right? I only say micronutrition is like a tiny bit more important, as in you need to make it a priority and you need to consider it. You need to wake up, and as much as you're thinking about, I need to make sure I get enough protein in my breakfast so that I don't have to worry about my protein for the rest of the day, or, you know, because it's easy to get carbs, and I need to, you know, make sure I get the right amount of fat, you know, and you're thinking all this about the micronutrition, you need to think about waking up. I need to get a big hit of electrolytes in the morning, right? Electrolytes are just a group of minerals that are, you know, just one micronutrient group, okay? It's like, I've got it written down here. So sodium, calcium, potassium, chloride, phosphate, and magnesium. They're the main ones, but you need a load of them, right? And like I was saying, if you don't have those electrolytes in your system, the reason they're called electrolytes is because what they help to do is they help the electrical current around your body, and the electrical current is basically how your cells communicate with each other. They do it through like an electrical current or electrical pulse. That's my understanding. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Again, I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not a scientist, not a biologist, but that's my understanding, very like kind of basic level. So this is why. So you can imagine if you don't have electrolytes in your body, you feel sluggish, you feel like crap. And also if you don't have electrolytes in your body, especially sodium, you can drink tons of water, your body doesn't absorb it, your body doesn't hold on to it, it doesn't actually hydrate your body. So you could drink 3 litres after a big long run. If you haven't had electrolytes, that water won't absorb in your body, it will just pass through your urine, okay? It won't actually help to hydrate your body. So this is what I mean, they all have these absolutely key functions, and you could be busting your ass in the gym, doing all the work, you know, thinking you're eating like a really healthy diet because you're hitting your macros and your carbs and your fats. All of it, it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant, it's useless. You'll plateau, you'll just start feeling like crap and hating exercise. You'll hate your really healthy diet because you're not eating the foods you like and you're just eating all these healthy foods. But if there's still a key food that you're missing or a key micronutrient that you're missing, you'll end up feeling like crap. So that's what I'd say, guys. That would be like the key message of micronutrition, why it's important. I hope I've got that across, but it's critical. Yeah, it's like the two, macronutrient and micronutrition, really important. Loads more videos about how to get the micronutrition that you need. Macros, not that hard. I'll do some videos about getting your macronutrition. It's not that difficult. It's only a bit of a challenge if you're plant-based, but then that is still not that hard. I'm going to do some videos that will show how easy it is to achieve the protein you need every day without supplementing, without even protein powder, and you can get the protein you need from a plant-based diet, no problem. Macronutrition, a lot of people know about that already, and the calorie trackers that I would strongly recommend you using if you want to help losing weight will easily figure out your macronutrition, but people usually ignore the micronutrition that they also follow. Annoyingly, it's usually you have to pay a premium, you have to pay for the pro version to really get the full list of micronutrition, and that's another reason because not a lot of people care about it. The reason it's a premium is because people don't care, and they know that people will still use the app, even without the micronutrition, and they can make the money from the ads. So this is another reason why I know that people just aren't that bothered about micronutrition, and it seems like this little kind of the detail and the geeky bit of nutrition, but guys, it's so essential and so important and so key to your training and so key to just living like a healthy life where you feel full of energy and you feel really good. So I hope that explains the real basics. This is like diet 101. This is kind of like the first lesson in nutrition and diet. Hope it was clear. Hope you understand better what macro and micronutrition is, and hope that helps. Okay, have a great day. Please like, subscribe, smash the subscribe button, smash the like button, and share this. Anyone who's interested in nutrition and wants to start learning a bit more about it, forward it along, and any questions in the comments below. And yeah, thanks. Have a great day, guys.